Be silent and act as if you have nothing to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to step into a powerful mindset, one that calls upon the depths of your courage and authenticity. I want you to be silent, not in the way that stifles your voice or your passion, but in a way that allows you to listen. Listen to the whispers of your heart, the desires that stir within you, and the dreams that beckon you forward. In that silence, you will find your truth, your purpose, and the strength to act as if you have nothing to lose. In a world that often screams for our attention, it's easy to forget the value of quiet. Silence is not absence, it is a space for clarity. When we pause, we create room for reflection and discovery. Imagine the insights that will unfold when you choose to be still. The most profound revelations often come not from loud proclamations, but from the gentle nudges of our inner voice. Embrace silence as power. Silence, it's such a simple word, yet it carries with it a profound strength. In a world that's constantly moving, buzzing, and pulling us in every direction, we often overlook the power of silence. But I'm here to tell you silence is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not a void that needs to be filled. Silence is power. And when you learn to embrace it, you tap into a source of strength that can change the way you see yourself in the world. Think about the moments in your life when you felt most overwhelmed, the times when the world around you was so loud that it drowned out your own thoughts, your own desires, your own voice. What happens when you keep moving in that noise? You lose your way. You lose connection with yourself. You start to let the world tell you who you are and what you should do. But when you allow yourself to be still, when you embrace the silence, that's when you begin to hear something more powerful than the noise, your truth. In silence, we hear the whispers of our soul. We start to tune into that inner wisdom that's always been there, waiting for us to listen. And it's in that stillness that clarity is born. Let me tell you, I've been through enough seasons of life to know that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stop, breathe, and listen. There is power in being present with yourself. When you step back from the chaos and noise of the world, you create space for the things that truly matter to rise to the surface. Your dreams, your purpose, your calling. You see, silence is where we find our strength. It's where we find the courage to be honest with ourselves about who we are and what we really want. It's where we stop looking for validation from the outside and start realizing that everything we need has been inside us all along. Now, embracing silence doesn't mean staying quiet when you need to speak up. It doesn't mean shrinking yourself or dimming your light. No, it means stepping into a deeper awareness of your own power. It means pausing long enough to connect with that inner voice that knows your worth, that knows what you're capable of, that knows you're enough. In the silence, you'll find that you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just have to be true to yourself. And when you operate from that place of stillness, of quiet confidence, you show up differently in the world. You're no longer driven by the fear of what others will think or the pressure to be who they want you to be. You start to make choices that are aligned with your heart, not someone else's expectations. You begin to lead from within. That, my friends, is the power of silence. Silence gives you the space to heal, to reflect, to dream. It's in the quiet moments that the greatest ideas are born, that the deepest healing takes place. Silence is not the absence of action, it's the space where transformation begins. When you embrace silence, you embrace yourself fully, unapologetically, and with the understanding that you are enough exactly as you are. Let go of fear. Fear, we all know it, don't we? That tight feeling in your chest, that voice in the back of your mind whispering, what if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Fear has a way of creeping in, sometimes without us even realizing it. It shows up as doubt, insecurity, and hesitation. But here's the truth: fear is a story we tell ourselves. And my friends, it's time to stop living by that story. You see, fear is a natural part of life. It's that instinct that's meant to protect us, to keep us safe. But sometimes fear holds us back from the very things we're meant to do, from the lives we're meant to live. It keeps us small. It makes us play it safe when deep down we know we were born for something greater. We know we were meant to step into our power, to be bold, to be courageous. But fear keeps us stuck. But here's what I want you to understand: you can let go of fear. And when you do, you free yourself. You release that weight that's been holding you down. Because fear is not who you are. It's just a feeling. It's temporary. It's fleeting. And it doesn't define you unless you let it. Letting go of fear is not about pretending it doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging it and choosing to move forward anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. It's about saying, yes, I feel scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take that step. I'm going to take that leap. And let me tell you something: when you act despite your fear, that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to realize just how powerful you really are. So how do you let go of fear? It starts with a shift in perspective. You have to understand that failure is not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace. Failure is a teacher. It's a guide. Every time you stumble, you're learning. Every time you fall, you're growing. And with each failure, you get closer to success. Think about it. How many times have you held back because you were afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid of making mistakes? But what if, instead of seeing failure as something to fear, you saw it as part of your journey? What if you understood that each misstep, each setback is a necessary part of the process? Suddenly, failure doesn't seem so scary, does it? It becomes a stepping stone to greatness. And let me tell you something else about fear. It's often rooted in the need for approval. We fear rejection. We fear being misunderstood. We fear that we're not good enough, that we don't measure up. But when you let go of the need to be validated by others, when you stop worrying about what other people think, that's when you truly set yourself free. Because here's the thing: you don't need anyone else's permission to be great. You don't need anyone else's approval to chase your dreams. You are worthy just as you are. You are capable just as you are. And you don't have to wait for someone else to tell you that. You just have to believe it for yourself. When you let go of fear, you step into a space of possibility. You start to see that there's nothing holding you back but your own doubts. You realize that the only limits that exist are the ones you've placed on yourself. And once you release those limits, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. You start to see opportunities where there were once obstacles. You begin to say yes to things that once terrified you. You start living boldly, unapologetically, and with a sense of purpose that's rooted not in fear, but in faith in yourself, in your dreams, and in the universe that's conspiring to help you every step of the way. Fear may always be there, but you don't have to let it control you. Take bold action. Boldness. That word alone has power, doesn't it? It's a word that carries the weight of dreams and the fire of possibility. When you hear it, you can't help but feel something stir inside you. But here's the thing: bold action isn't just about grand gestures or making big moves. It's about choosing to show up in your life every single day with intention and courage. Now, I want you to think about the moments when you've held back. Maybe it was fear, maybe it was doubt, or maybe it was doubt, or maybe it was that little voice inside that told you. Who do you think you are to try that? We've all been there. We've all faced those moments when we felt too small, too unsure, too afraid to step out. But here's what I want you to know: you are never too small to take bold action. Boldness is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about having all the answers or knowing exactly how things will turn out. Bold action is about taking that step even when you don't see the whole staircase. It's about moving forward when you're unsure of the outcome. It's about betting on yourself even when no one else does. You see, the thing about bold action is that it requires faith in yourself, faith in your vision, and faith in something greater than you. And here's the truth: bold action is not reserved for the fearless. It's for the person who feels the fear and moves forward anyway. It's for the person who understands that every great achievement started with a step that seemed impossible at first. Think about all the times you've waited for the perfect moment, waited for the fear to subside, waited for someone to give you permission. But here's what I need you to hear today: the perfect moment may never come. The fear may not fully go away. And no one else is going to give you the green light to live the life you've been dreaming of. You have to decide that now is the time. You have to be the one to say, I'm ready. And let me tell you something else about bold action. It's contagious. When you start living boldly, when you start stepping into your power, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage gives someone else permission to be courageous. Your bravery lights the way for someone who's been afraid to take their first step. That's the ripple effect of bold action. But here's the catch: bold action doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges, setbacks, or even failures along the way. What it means is that you're willing to keep going anyway. It means that you've made a decision deep within yourself that your dreams are worth the risk, worth the effort, worth every moment of uncertainty. Taking bold action is about understanding that waiting for perfect conditions will leave you stuck. There will never be a time when everything is perfectly aligned. The stars won't magically fall into place. Life will always present challenges, distractions, and reasons to play it safe. But when you take bold action, you choose to stop waiting for permission and start creating the life you want, right here, right now. It's about saying, I'm not waiting for someone else to tell me I'm ready. I'm not waiting for the world to validate my dreams. I'm stepping into them fully and completely because I know that everything I need is already inside of me. And let's talk about those moments of hesitation, the ones where you doubt if you can do it. That's where bold action becomes a game changer. You see, every bold move you make builds momentum. Every time you push through your fear, you gain strength. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you expand your capacity for greatness. And here's the beauty of it: bold action doesn't have to be a giant leap. Sometimes the boldest thing you can do is to take that first small step. It might be having a difficult conversation, making a decision that scares you, or finally saying yes to an opportunity you've been avoiding. Each small act of boldness builds upon the next, and before you know it, you've created a life that's a reflection of your highest self, a life that's not just lived, but fully embraced. Let me tell you this: when you take bold action, you give yourself permission to dream bigger, to live larger, to take up space in this world in a way that honors who you truly are. And when you do that, you tap into a force that can't be stopped. Bold action invites the universe to rise up and meet you. It sends a message that says, I am here, I am ready, and I am moving forward. So whatever it is you've been holding back on, whatever dream you've kept on the back burner, this is your moment. This is your time to take bold action. Because the world needs people who are willing to take risks. Trust your instincts. There's a voice inside each of us, one that speaks with clarity, with wisdom, and with a deep knowing. That voice, my friends, is your instinct. It's your intuition. It's the part of you that doesn't need to analyze or rationalize because it already knows. And let me tell you this: when you learn to trust your instincts, when you start listening to that voice, you unlock a power that can guide you through any challenge, any decision, and any dream you're daring to chase. But here's the thing: so many of us have learned to doubt that voice. We've been conditioned to question ourselves, to look for answers outside of ourselves, to seek validation from the world. We've been taught to trust the opinions of others, to follow the rules, to play by the book. And while there's value in gathering wisdom from others, nothing can replace your own inner compass. Nothing can guide you as accurately or as personally as your instincts can. You see, your instincts are not random. They are the product of your experiences, your emotions, your insights, and the unique lens through which you see the world. They're the whispers of your soul, speaking to you in a language only you can understand. And here's the truth deep down: you already know what's right for you. You already know what you need to do. You just have to trust it. Now, I know that trusting your instincts isn't always easy, especially when the noise of the world is telling you otherwise. We live in a society that values logic and reason, that tells us to weigh the pros and cons, to make calculated decisions. And while there's nothing wrong with being thoughtful, there are moments when the logical choice is not the right choice for you. There are moments when your gut is pulling you in a direction that doesn't make sense on paper, but feels right in your spirit. That's where you have to learn to trust yourself. That's where you have to lean into your instincts and know that they won't lead you astray. Think about the times in your life when you listened to your instincts. Maybe it was a career move, a relationship, a choice to walk away from something that no longer served you. You might not have had all the facts, but something inside told you this is the path. And when you followed that path, doors opened, opportunities appeared, you found yourself exactly where you were meant to be. That's the magic of trusting your instincts. It's like stepping into the flow of your life, where everything starts to align in ways you couldn't have predicted. But here's the key: you have to be willing to trust even when it feels uncertain, even when it feels scary, even when everyone around you is questioning your choices. Because trusting your instincts doesn't mean you'll have all the answers. It doesn't mean you'll always know how things will turn out. It means you're willing to believe in your own inner wisdom, even when the path ahead isn't fully clear. Let me tell you something about intuition. It's deeply personal. What's right for someone else might not be right for you, and that's okay. You have to learn to trust your own rhythm, your own timing, your own process. When you stop comparing yourself to others and start listening to what feels right in your own heart, that's when you start living authentically. That's when you start making decisions that align with who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. And the more you trust your instincts, the stronger they become. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the more you rely on it, the sharper and clearer it becomes. You start to notice that your instincts guide you not just in the big moments, but in the small, everyday choices. They help you navigate relationships, opportunities, challenges, and even the way you care for yourself. Your instincts are always there, always available, always speaking to you. You just have to be still enough, quiet enough to hear them. And let's talk about those moments of doubt. Because there will be times when your instincts lead you in a direction that feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. There will be times when you're standing at a crossroads and the safe option is right there, but your gut is pulling you toward the unknown. That's the moment of truth. That's when you have to decide whether you'll play it safe or take the leap. Trusting your instincts requires courage. It requires you to let go of the need for approval, to stop seeking external validation, and to trust that you know what's best for you. And I'll tell you this, when you start living from that place of self-trust, you begin to see life differently. You move with more confidence, more ease, and more flow. You start to attract the right opportunities, the right people, the right experiences, because you're aligned with your own truth. Now, trusting your instincts doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks. It doesn't mean everything will be smooth sailing. But what it does mean is that you'll be living in alignment with your highest self. And when you're living in that alignment, even the challenges become stepping stones to something greater. You begin to see that every twist, every turn, every detour is part of the journey, leading you exactly where you're meant to go. So I want to encourage you today to start trusting yourself more. Start believing that you already have the answers within you. Start listening to that quiet voice inside that knows what you need, even when the world around you is chaotic. Trust your instincts and let them guide you toward the life you've been dreaming of. Because, my friends, when you trust your instincts, you step into a flow that's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. You start to live with purpose, with clarity, with a deep sense of knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You stop second-guessing yourself, and you start moving with intention, with grace, and with an unshakable belief that you are capable of creating the life you desire. Cultivate resilience. Resilience. When you hear that word, what do you think of? Strength. Perseverance. The ability to bounce back when life knocks you down? Yes, it's all of that and so much more. Resilience is the fire that burns inside of you, the unshakable determination to keep going even when the road is hard, even when the obstacles feel insurmountable. It's the knowing that no matter how many times you fall, you will rise again. And I'm here to tell you today, you have that fire inside of you. You were born with it. But resilience isn't just about enduring. It's not about gritting your teeth and pushing through without feeling. True resilience is about finding the strength to transform adversity into opportunity. It's about turning pain into power. It's about understanding that every challenge, every setback, every storm you face is shaping you into the person you were meant to be. You see, life is going to test you. It's going to push you, stretch you. And sometimes it will bring you to your knees. There will be moments when you question your strength, when you wonder if you have what it takes to keep going. And in those moments, resilience is your greatest ally. Resilience is what allows you to look at your circumstances and say, this will not break me, this will not define me. I will rise from this. But here's the thing, resilience isn't something you're born with or without. It's not a trait that only a few people have. Resilience is something you cultivate. It's something you grow. And like anything worth having, it takes time, it takes practice, and it takes intention. The first step in cultivating resilience is accepting that challenges are a part of life. Too often we resist the difficult moments, we wish them away, or we tell ourselves that we shouldn't have to face them. But let me tell you something, your struggles are not a sign of weakness. They are a part of your story. And if you allow them to, they will make you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Think about the moments in your life that have tested you the most. Maybe it was a loss, a failure, a disappointment. Maybe it was something that shook you to your core. At the time, it probably felt unbearable, like the weight of the world was on your shoulders. But look at you now. You're still here. You survived. You grew. You learned something about yourself that you didn't know before. That's resilience. It's the ability to not just survive, but to thrive in the face of hardship. And let's talk about failure, because that's where resilience really shows its face. We live in a world that often tells us that failure is the end of the road, that if you stumble, you've somehow lost. But here's what I want you to understand. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every great success story has its roots in failure. Every person who has achieved something remarkable has, at some point, faced defeat, rejection, or setback. What separates them is their ability to get back up, to try again, to learn from the failure and keep moving forward. Resilience means looking at failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone. It's about asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow? And when you start to view failure in that way, you take away its power to hold you back. You begin to see it for what it really is, a teacher. And when you learn the lessons that failure has to offer, you become unstoppable. Now, resilience doesn't mean you have to be strong all the time. It doesn't mean you have to pretend like things don't hurt or that you don't feel pain or disappointment. No, resilience is about allowing yourself to feel all of it, the hurt, the fear, the uncertainty, and then deciding to rise anyway. It's about being vulnerable, acknowledging that you don't have all the answers, and still choosing to move forward. That's real strength. That's real resilience. Another part of cultivating resilience is learning to adapt. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and things don't always go according to plan. But here's the truth: you are more adaptable than you know. You are more resourceful than you give yourself credit for. Resilience is about tapping into that adaptability, about shifting your perspective when life throws you a curveball, and finding a new path forward. It's about saying, this isn't how I thought things would go, but I'm going to find a way through, and in that process, you often discover strength and capabilities you didn't even know you had. And let me say this, resilience doesn't mean going it alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on your support system when you need it. We were never meant to walk this journey by ourselves. Part of resilience is knowing when to reach out, when to lean on others for strength, when to say, I need help. There is power in community, in connection, in allowing yourself to be supported by others. Because sometimes resilience is about finding the courage to be vulnerable, to let others lift you up when you're feeling weak. Resilience is also about self-compassion. Too often we're hard on ourselves when things don't go as planned. We beat ourselves up for not being strong enough, for not being perfect, for making mistakes. But part of cultivating resilience is learning to be kind to yourself. It's about giving yourself the grace to be human. It's about recognizing that you are doing the best you can, and that sometimes just getting through the day is enough. So as you face the challenges that life brings your way, I want you to remember this: you are resilient. You have everything you need inside of you to overcome whatever obstacles you face. You may stumble, you may fall, but you will always rise. Because resilience is not about never falling down. It's about getting back up every single time. And the more you cultivate resilience, the more you'll realize that the setbacks, the failures, the disappointments, they don't define you. What defines you is how you respond. What defines you is your ability to stand back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Resilience is not just about surviving the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. It's about finding beauty in the struggle, strength in the challenge, and hope in the darkest moments. And when you do that, my friends, there is nothing that can stand in your way. Live authentically. There's a power that comes from being who you truly are. I'm not talking about the person you show to the world when you want to be accepted or praised. I'm talking about the person you are when no one else is watching, when all the masks come off and it's just you with your thoughts, your dreams, your truth. That's authenticity. That's the core of what it means to live fully, to live boldly, and to live in alignment with your highest self. And I want you to know something: living authentically is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world. But let's be real, living authentically isn't easy. We live in a world that constantly tries to tell us who we should be, how we should act, what success looks like, what happiness is supposed to feel like. We're bombarded by messages from the media, from society, even from well-meaning friends and family that tell us we need to fit into a certain mold to be accepted, to be loved, to be successful. And in the process, we lose touch with the most important person in our lives, ourselves. When you're not living authentically, there's a disconnect, a feeling that something is off. Even if everything looks fine on the outside, you may be achieving success, you may be checking off all the boxes, but deep down, you know there's something missing. That's because true fulfillment can only come when you are living in alignment with who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. Living authentically means having the courage to be yourself unapologetically in a world that often tries to make you someone else. It means embracing your uniqueness, your quirks, your imperfections, and owning them as the beautiful parts of who you are. It means recognizing that you are enough just as you are, without needing to conform to anyone else's expectations. But here's the thing: authenticity requires vulnerability. It requires you to show up in the world raw and real, even when it's uncomfortable. It means being willing to say, this is me, this is what I believe, this is what I stand for. Even if it's not popular, even if it's not what others want to hear, it means being true to yourself, even when it feels risky. You see, authenticity isn't just about being real with others, it's about being real with yourself. It's about getting quiet enough to hear your own voice above the noise of the world. It's about asking yourself, what do I really want? What do I really believe? What does success look like for me? And then having the courage to honor that truth, even when it's hard, even when it goes against the grain. And let me tell you something: when you start living authentically, your life changes. You start attracting people and opportunities that align with your true self. You stop wasting energy trying to be something you're not, and you start pouring that energy into living the life that was meant for you. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because authenticity has a power all its own. People are drawn to those who are living their truth, who are walking in their purpose, who are unafraid to be who they are. Now, I'm not saying living authentically is easy. There will be times when it feels uncomfortable. There will be times when you face criticism, when others don't understand your choices, when the world tries to pull you back into the mold it's created for you. But here's what you need to remember: your authenticity is your superpower. No one else can be you. No one else can bring to the world what you have to offer. And when you live authentically, you're giving the world the gift of your full, unapologetic self. Think about the people who inspire you most. Chances are they're not the ones who played it safe, who conformed to what everyone else was doing. They're the ones who dared to be different, who dared to follow their own path, who dared to live their truth, even when it wasn't easy. That's the power of authenticity. It creates ripple effects. When you live authentically, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon of light for those who are still searching for their own truth, showing them that it's possible to live in alignment with who they really are. Living authentically also means embracing your flaws and imperfections. We live in a culture that's obsessed with perfection, with presenting a flawless image to the world. But let me tell you something: perfection is an illusion. It's unattainable, and the more you chase it, the further you get from your true self. Authenticity is about embracing your imperfections and understanding that they are a part of what makes you unique, what makes you human. It's about letting go of the need to be perfect and allowing yourself to be real. When you live authentically, you give yourself the freedom to make mistakes, to take risks, to try new things without the fear of failing or looking foolish. You understand that failure is not something to be feared, it's something to be embraced as part of your journey, as part of your growth. Authenticity allows you to live with a sense of freedom because you're no longer bound by the expectations of others, you're living for you. And that, my friends, is true liberation. And let's not forget, authenticity also means living with integrity. It means aligning your actions with your values, speaking your truth, and standing up for what you believe in, even when it's uncomfortable. It means being consistent in who you are, no matter who's watching. Living authentically is not just about what you say, it's about how you live. It's about walking your talk, about being true to yourself in every aspect of your life, in both the big moments and the small ones. And let me tell you, when you start living authentically, something beautiful happens. You start to feel a sense of peace, a sense of alignment, a sense of purpose. You stop chasing after things that aren't meant for you, and you start attracting the things that are. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself to others because you're already enough in your own eyes. And that, my friends, is when life starts to feel like it's truly your own. Now, I want you to think about what living authentically means for you. What would your life look like if you stripped away the expectations, the shoulds, the pressures to fit in? What would change if you allowed yourself to live fully as you are, without apology, without hesitation, without fear? That's where the magic is. That's where you'll find the deepest joy, the greatest fulfillment, the most powerful connection to yourself and to the world around you. Living authentically is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a practice, a commitment you make to yourself every day to show up as you are, to honor your truth, and to live in alignment with your soul's purpose. And I promise you this, when you make that commitment, when you decide to live your life authentically, everything around you shifts. You start to see the world in a new way, and the world starts to see you in a new way. You become more of who you were always meant to be. And that, my friends, is the greatest gift you can give yourself. So as we stand here today, I want to leave you with this: living authentically is your birthright. It's not about having all the answers or being perfect. It's about waking up every day with the intention to honor who you truly are, to live in alignment with your deepest truth, and to let go of the fear that you're somehow not enough. When you choose authenticity, you're choosing a life of freedom. You're choosing to be bold, to be real, to be unapologetically you. And in doing so, you give permission to others to do the same. You light the path for those still searching for their way, showing them that it's okay to embrace who they really are. The world doesn't need more people who blend in, who conform, who try to fit into boxes they were never meant for. The world needs you exactly as you are. Your gifts, your voice, your story, they matter. And when you live authentically, you step into the fullness of your power. And that's when life begins to unfold in ways you never thought possible. So my challenge to you today is this: live boldly, live truthfully, live authentically. Don't be afraid to let the world see who you really are, because that's where your power lies. And as you do, you'll find that everything you've been searching for, the peace, the purpose, the fulfillment, it's already within you. All you have to do is trust it, honor it, and let it lead you forward. Remember, the most beautiful thing you can be is yourself. So go out there and live your life as the masterpiece it was always meant to be.